Yes, now. Everyday superpower where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. I'm going to talk to you about peacocking today. It's a term we all know, or, you know, I won't blanket everyone, not literally everyone, but generally speaking, people know about peacocking. People who don't know about pickup artistry, people who don't know about, game as such, know about peacocking. And even if you don't, I think it's relatively explanatory if you just, you know, point someone out and say, oh, they're peacocking, and it's quite clear that they are. I think people will understand from the get-go what you mean by peacocking, because a lot of people know what a peacock is and what they're, why they're such a marketable bird, really. Because of the gorgeous display they put on in the dance of attraction. But I'm going to tell you about how it works. The term was coined by Mystery, unless Mystery learnt it elsewhere. Mystery essentially is the most famous pickup artist of all time. Unless we know anyone different. I mean, if you want to call Dan Bilzerian a pickup artist or so forth, you tell me. But he was the most known, and he was a little before my time, I think. He came at, or at least the peak of his notoriety came maybe like a generation, not a generation, but maybe a decade prior to, anything I cared about. So I wasn't really focused on him. I did pick up The Game by Neil Strauss at some point. I mean, who doesn't, but it was very much of a 2000s thing. I heard that book was in every teenage boy's bag, and there was a series called The Pickup Artist and stuff, which you can't find for free on the internet. I've been looking to find that stuff on the internet for free, but you have to subscribe to some BS, and I'm never going to do that. So I'd like to see that. But he coined the term, or at least from my awareness, he coined the term peacocking. The art of peacocking is displaying yourself in such a fashion that it not only provokes attention, but it provokes potential ridicule. Okay? This is the important thing people don't know about. That's why I did this video. I mean, if I was just going to tell you what you knew, it'd be unnecessary. But the idea is to present yourself in a way, or wear an object of such, or act in such a way that attracts potential ridicule, attracts haters, attracts the envious. Within the realm of masculinity, attracts men who hate on you, or point the finger at you, or dislike you for what you're wearing, how you're acting, and so forth. Comments such as, oh, what's he wearing that for? Oh, he's only that way because he uses steroids. Oh, nah, he looks gay. What's he dancing like that for? This guy's embarrassing, have you seen him? So on and so forth. These men serve a purpose because they advertise you to the women. These men do you a favour because this act of clear envy and jealousy and attention given to you, whereas you as the peacocker aren't giving this man attention, delivers a clear symbol of the hierarchy that resides, the pecking order. You are above them because they're looking up to you and you don't even acknowledge them, right? That woman acknowledges that outside of her conscious awareness. It's within her biological reality that she understands who is the dominant within the field. The fact that you present yourself in such manner, with such confidence, with such nonchalance, although you attract the negative attention, although it's clear that you have put that on knowing you will attract negative attention, this isn't the fact that you're just weird, that you're just odd, right? This is the fact that you still look half decent, you still are well presented to whichever extent, but you are wearing an object that is abnormal and shows confidence. That's very attractive, and that confidence comes from the fact that you will be receiving attacks from other people. Nothing crazy, generally, but snide comments and passive aggression. And you are putting yourself on the forefront to garner that negative attention purely listen to me, for the fact that you showcase that it doesn't bother you, that you brush it off. This is what it's about. You put yourself in harm's way from other men to show that you needn't fear those other men, that you are not frightened of criticism and ridicule and standing out and being the counterculture of the norm. It's not about strictly, I mean, there's so many purpose. There's so much purpose behind it, but most people think that it's purely like down to having a talking point, a reference someone can make to communicate with you. A woman will say, "Ooh, I like your glasses," or "Ooh, I like your hat," or "Ooh, I like your scarf," or "Oh my God, I wish I had a scarf like that," blah, blah, blah. Yeah, once you get talking and so on and so forth, it's so multifaceted that is most definitely a part of it. And that's what people think it is first and foremost in everything. That's the whole purpose behind it. But no, there is a evolutionary biological principle at play here, which is deeper than most people would consider. And that's the fact that you are going out there into the animal kingdom displaying this overt, colourful character, putting yourself in harm's way before the predators, saying, "Here I am," and fending these predators off with no problem whatsoever. In the animal kingdom, you'll go out there, make yourself a target by being vibrant and bold and so forth, making yourself aware to other predators. But within our human social realm, we get attacked through the words. We get attacked through social we get, you know what I mean. No one's going to come and punch you in the face unless you really annoy them so much. And hell, if you are that vibrant and their woman is giving you the attention that you are garnering through them being envious and you being more colourful than them in both the character and the physical realm, hey, you might get punched in the face, but that's the whole point. You're going out there fearless that that's the possibility it might happen. And it's not like you have gone out there consciously thinking, I want to annoy people tonight. I don't think many men want to attract that negative energy. I know I don't. But it's the fact that you have gone out there confident and comfortable wearing this item of clothing, indirectly showcasing that it's fine and it's within your boundaries to be able to put yourself out there like that, because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to you, you see? There's limits. As I just said, it's within your boundaries to act in this manner. If you went and intentionally wore something you were uncomfortable wearing, it's going to manifest through your body language. You're going to look uncertain. You're going to be frozen. You're going to be slow and stuttered. You're not going to be fluid and communicate non-verbally, at the very least, in the way that you need to garner positive attention. It must be something you are actually comfortable with. So take me, for example. When I was younger, I was in a relationship, and in this relationship, she bought me what's called is it a onesie? I think essentially a onesie, right? It's a full body, like pajama outfit, right? And I loved it. It was so comfortable, so cozy, and I became accustomed to wearing this thing when I wanted to relax. Now, later on down the line, I've been in a social group with a whole bunch of women, and someone left a onesie unopened, completely fresh, and I said, "Yo, can I have that?" Because I'm not frightened of this thing. I used to wear these things all the time. I know they're pretty bloody good to chill out in. So she goes, yeah, no problem. I tried it on, and I was just chilling out comfortable in this public space with this thing on, right? Which might sound silly, right? But that's the thing. It was silly. And you should have seen the way I was getting touched up by these women who were within this social group, and the way they were saying you're fearless and this and that. You know, what could be perceived as like weird and odd and abnormal and something to poke fun at. In the eyes of these women, they were calling me such masculine terms, such as fearless and you just don't care, do you? Like in a uplifting manner, not like in a disrespectful manner, but in a acknowledgement that I am confident. And what do they tell you? Like what's, you know, relationship advice 101? Oh, just be confident, just be yourself. You're ticking both of them boxes when you can push the boundaries of your appearance and peacock in a manner that actually showcases your character, your attitude, and your carelessness, or your carefree, facet of your personality, without it infringing on your insecurities or discomfort. You know? If I walk down the street in that onesie, right, it could be bright pink for all I care, fluffy and bright pink. If I walk down the street in that onesie and a guy says, you look like an idiot, because I know this is completely fine and I can acknowledge where that comment comes from, I can look at him and laugh. And perhaps it's in my power to wind him up even more because I've discovered his thumb screw. I've discovered this random guy's chink in his armour who doesn't know me, I don't know him, but he's come up to me and through this projection has just said, I am insecure and you make me feel insecure wearing that because I see myself mirrored in you and I see my own insecurities mirrored in you, and that insecurity is that I would never ever dare to have the confidence to wear something like that whether I wanted to or not. That's some game. That's peacocking. And on that note, I'm signing out. Click like and subscribe, people. Peace.